Let me ask you a question. If you're a first home buyer looking to buy your first home, but you have no income and no deposit and actually no possible way and chance in hell to get a mortgage, but then the government comes in and go, hey mate, I can get you a mortgage approved right now, no income verification, no need to check the deposits or credit history, but the only condition is I decide where you should buy and you have no say. And the question is, would you take this up? Now, 98% of people would say, hell no. I mean, only a dummy would say yes to that, right? Because why would I make the mortgage repayments if I can't decide where I want to live and let the bloody government dictate where I should buy? Now, a lot of you might think this is a very dumb premise. Why would anyone do such a thing? But truth be told, this is actually happening in the world right now. Because in this analogy, we have the first home buyer and the government. The first home buyer is actually Ukraine. And the government is Uncle Sam, the US government. Because that's right guys, the US government has already approved a $40 billion aid to Ukraine. Obviously for weapons and mercenaries and armies and resources to fight the Russians. Because seriously guys, how is Ukraine standing up against the Russians? Ukraine has 43 million people. Russia has 143 million people. That's about 30% of Russia. So why is this war still lasting so long? How does Ukraine still stand up to Russia? And remember what I said, the government will step in with the mortgage, no verification required, as long as you make the repayments, but you can't choose the property you want to buy. In this case, the conditions of this $40 billion mortgage is that you take whatever I give you, which means the Ukrainians have to buy whatever nearly expired stock the US currently has in their arms stock. That also includes unsold inventory. In any unsold rockets, missiles, firearms, whatever it is, use that on the Russians first. And by the way, Ukrainians, you get no discount on all this stock that is provided by Uncle Sam in this $40 million budget. Reason being is you're not a VIP of NATO yet, so you get charged full price. But hey, we're giving you a free mortgage to fight the Russians. So as a courtesy of Uncle Sam, all you Ukrainians will use all my nearly expired stock. We'll go through a $40 billion mortgage to purchase that. I'll charge you full interest on that, by the way. You can use all my undesired stock, like undesired properties, and go and fight the Russians, while I use you as a proxy puppet to fight the Russians for me without damaging my country and my resources, all the while making money and bank on you. Ah, you smart Uncle Sam. And this goes full circle to my point I want to make in this video, is the US love for war. Did you know the US is the #1 arms dealer in the world right now? They make most of their money from creating and inciting war. During the Cold War, they made nearly $500 billion from their private arms sales. And as you can see, through 1992, there was a collapse of Soviet Union, and then, the demand for weaponry has dropped. So what does Uncle Sam do? How do we make more money? I mean, back in the good old days when the US government was helping the Russians invade Afghanistan, even oil drillers in Saudi Arabia were saying, hey man, compared to you guys, we're just making pimp money. So with this massive dip in demand for weaponry, what is next? How do we increase profits again by selling more weaponry? Or in other words, how do you stir shit up? Are there internal civil wars they can contribute to? Is there any countries calling for independence that require arms? Now those are great channels for more weaponry sales, but this is the smartest thing Uncle Sam has done. The creation of NATO and NATO expansion. They created NATO membership, just like Netflix, for arms. Because even when the Soviet Union was dissolved, they had their biggest issue. They were not making bang anymore. So they introduced the NATO membership, which included a VIP annual fee for all NATO members. And part of this NATO membership, which I call the Netflix of war or Warflix, each member needs to spend 2% of their GDP on defense. Which means, for example, if Denmark's GDP was $355 billion, every year they need to spend 2% of that for defense, which equals to $7.1 billion. $7.1 billion of yearly subscription to NATO's VIP membership. Let me ask you, how many countries are in the NATO right now? $7.1 billion minimum per year from one country times that many members at the moment. And the terms and conditions are these NATO members, part of the VIP discounting for weapons, they all must buy from Uncle Sam dealers and channels. And by the way, they're all owned by the US. Coincidentally, is this unfair? No, it's a volume VIP discount. Guys, the US involvement in this Ukraine and Russian war is simply to make bang. Guys, Finland has already put in an application to join NATO, and before getting approved, they already ordered $9.4 billion of 64 Lockheed jets from a chosen US defense giant Lockheed Martins, which is a big private arms dealer of the USA. So like this Joker scene, the US is making bank. Now, poorer countries are encouraged to join, for example, Ukraine. Because the US government or the US private arms dealers also has a BNPL scheme, which stands for Buy Now, Pay Later. For example, NATO's Afterpay. Ukraine, you got only 43 million people. Russia has 143 million. You want some war afterpay? Yes, sir, $40 billion. With the puppet Ukrainian president saying, yes, ma'am, use my country as a proxy war to fight Russia for your own hidden agendas. And by the way, did you hear from this president? The Ukrainian president was asking for nukes for the US. Nuke them first. There is only one word that describes war: money. There's a question I want to ask you guys. In war, if you have a quick war, is that more profitable for the arms dealers? Or would you prefer a war that is long and dragged out? Which one makes more money? I'll let you answer that. Because regardless of what the politicians say, what they feed the media, we don't want war. Really? You don't want war? The US is a major player in the global arms market. And their campaign is to get all of Europe to be part of NATO, to be part of their war flicks. And guys, don't even get me started on the UN. While everyone thinks, oh, the US is so great, they're giving $40 billion aid to Ukraine. That's a freaking $40 billion finance loan to purchase whatever leftover stock to fight the bloody Russians. While the US can clean up the old stock, produce more arms, sell more, make more money. So guys, jump in the comments, let me know what you think. Do you agree with my observation? Do you think Uncle Sam is using Ukraine as a proxy war? And it's just a way for the US arms companies to make more money and sell more NATO VIP memberships? Love to know your thoughts.